Hi, this is Dave Hodges of the Common Sense Show, and we are the show that's freeing America, one enslaved mind at a time. Well, happy days are here again. And part of what I'm going to tell you, part of the reason underlying what I do, really tells you why I do what I do. This comprises my motivation to a large extent. Specifically, what am I talking about? Well, the common man is having a victory of sorts. Monsanto, or Monsatan, as I like to call them, is being sued, and they're being sued big time with multiple national ads asking for people to join the lawsuit if they've had a problem with Roundup, if they develop cancers or other things that allegedly Roundup causes. Monsanto is facing major legal action, and this is great news for us. Monsanto, I'd be hard-pressed to find another corporation, maybe outside Standard Oil, that is more heinous in their behavior, acts with more depraved indifference towards the general public than Monsanto. I remember my first real go-around with them was 7 or 8 years ago. I interviewed a man from Canada named Percy Schmeiser. And Percy was a farmer, minded his own business, and mayor of a small little town, and just a really good guy. And his neighbor was using Roundup. And Roundup blew on Percy's farm. Now, he didn't put it there. He didn't want to use it. It was an act of God. Now, what did Monsanto do? They had their agents trespass on Percy's property, take soil samples, and they said, aha, you're using Monsanto and you didn't buy it. You're pirating this. So they sued him for $2 million. He couldn't afford $2 million. He lost in the lower court. He appealed to the Canadian Supreme Court, and fortunately for Percy, he won by 1 vote. Unbelievable. Well, this is Monsanto. They don't want a label. In Europe, where Monsanto Foods, and they're the ones behind the GMOs, when they were forced to label by the EU, sales of Monsanto GMOs went down by 2/3. California attempted to do the same thing. But what happened with Monsanto? They spent 20 times the money as their opponent. Some say they engaged in voter fraud. I don't know if that's true. I don't have any proof. Would I be surprised? No. And they won a narrow victory to keep Californians from knowing what's in their food when Monsanto produces it. Now, isn't it interesting? If you and I develop a medicine, develop a food, what ends up happening? We have to go through all kinds of FDA testing. Monsanto goes through none of that. They don't get their $200. They don't pass go. They don't have to do any trials clinically. They simply go to the head of the class and start profiting, and the public health be damned. But one of the more telling things I've seen about Monsanto was in the Seralini studies, and you can see this on YouTube. The Seralini studies were about rats that were raised on nothing but GMOs produced by Monsanto. And by the time these rats reached puberty, they were hauling their tumors on the floor that were as big as they were. If you need any proof that Monsanto is a cancer-causing factory who acts with depraved indifference for the general public, you're not paying attention. There's all kinds of data and information out there, and I would strongly suggest that you share the following number with anyone who has used Roundup and has any kind of related health problems. And you say, well, Dave, what would be a related health problem? And my answer is, if they're sick, it's a related health problem. Here's the number to call to be a part of the lawsuit. 1-800-497-9913. Again, to be a part of the lawsuit against Roundup produced by Monsanto, that number is 1-800-497-9913. Please make this go viral. Please share this with your social media. Let's put Monsanto in their place. Well, that's it for the Common Sense Show. We are brought to you by someone who does the opposite of Monsanto, and that is Health Masters. Healthmasters.com, run by my very good friend, Dr. Ted Broer. Every time I have a health problem, I go straight to Ted. Doug Hagman had a blood sugar rating of about 450. He was headed to hospitalization, and Ted straightened him out with Health Masters products. And you can do the same thing. He has something for everybody. It is awesome. Go to healthmasters.com and use the promo code DAVE5 to take 5% off. If you're new to the Common Sense Show, we would ask that you would subscribe, because we'll keep you updated every time we make a release. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here again next time.